Welcome back to the Formula 4 Spanish Championship. We are here in Valencia for the penultimate round of the championship, of this 2025 championship that could potentially be resolved today. We have, of course, Thomas Strauben, who won last time out in Jerez, and he is, of course, leading the championship by 110 points, a whooping 110 points. He has enough advantage to have a marginal chance at being a champion today. There would be too many complicated combinations to make sure that that happened, but there is definitely a possibility. And of course, the biggest possibility is for the Belgian driver to be a champion tomorrow. There will be another interesting fight, though, even if the champion title race is almost over, which is a fight for that sweet second spot between René Lammers and, of course, one of the men of the season, Ian Eggmans, who finally took that first victory last time in Jerez after a whole season of chasing that first win, second place after second place. It is, of course, the three men that I've mentioned that are fighting for those top spots. But do not forget, where are we? Those who have a better memory will remember. This is Valencia, and Valencia is the land of the king of Valencia, Juan Cota, who won the 3 races last year and who has been steadily improving this season. He's in the best moment of the year, and he is, of course, very competitive here. He knows what it is like to win here. Last time out in 2024, 3 races, and of course in the motorsport game. So that's 4 victories out of 4 races last year. He's one of the favorites, as will the 3 guys at the top of the standings. So I think we're in for a very interesting weekend. Will you enjoy it? I know I will. So come and join us.
On a weekend where we mark a big milestone in Spanish F4 history, we will have the 200th meeting of Spanish F4 this weekend, and it's very suiting to be at Valencia for the penultimate round of this championship. A track where spectators often describe it to have a celebratory feeling, and that could very much be the case again this weekend, with our championship leader Thomas Strauben set in good steps to wrap up the championship this time round. But still, there is 3 races to come this weekend, and a lot can happen in that meantime. I'll be Kai Bicini, and joining me alongside down on the track will be Alex Garcia, who brings us the latest news from down on the track. So Alex, how are you feeling down there? How's the weather, and how is the atmosphere for a very tense battle in the championship?
Hello, Kai. Great to hear from you again. Great to see you again. And, well, we're having fantastic weather. We were mentioning just now with our Spanish colleagues as well how hot it always is here in Valencia, and it never disappoints. It is completely blue skies, which is a sign of high temperatures. So that is different from what we saw in qualifying. That is important because for these drivers it will be a challenge. But more than anything, we're focused on that fight for the championship, which could be decided today. That's 5 points that Thomas Strauben needs to take off René Lammers, and or I should say Ian Eggmans, and 11 points that he needs to take off René Lammers for him to be a champion. That could be a possibility to see today. Of course, that all depends on how the race ends. In summary, what he needs to do is win the race with his rivals in 3rd position or worse, pending, of course, the fastest lap point. We will be doing the math during the race to make sure that our spectators know if he's a champion or not. But that's definitely the great story of the day. Tomorrow, there'll be another big story, which is the 200th race for the Formula 4 Spanish Championship. Big milestone, as you said, Kai, and one that we're always very, very happy to share with our spectators and with you, of course.
Of course. And at this circuit, once again, we find ourselves at another very famous bike circuit, one that has been on the MotoGP calendar since 1999. Now, one thing that we've learned from this season, racing at these famous bike circuits, is that qualifying has been very, very important. And with Thomas Strauven starting on pole position, what do you think we should expect from the racing action this time round, Alex? Because qualifying, it's very similar to what we saw last time.
Yes, we know that Valencia is always a very tight circuit, so we should expect the start to be very, very important, crucial in fact, because overtaking here is tricky. We know that it's similar to Jerez, maybe a bit more extreme, but I'll let you focus on, I think we're seeing a car arriving. Yep, we're ready for the start.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Alex. And the lights are out, and we are racing a brilliant start from pole position. Thomas Strauven is able to break away from the rest of the field already, get himself a nice little gap as the rest of the drivers are just squabbling for track position. Jan Piriowski diving left, diving right, trying to cover off Eichmans, as Eichmans in that red Richard Mille car is looking desperate to try and find himself up a position off the start. A lock-up just in front. We're looking at Renault Franco trying to make his way past René Lammers as Cantan and Panetta are going at it in behind. Those two side by side through the first few corners. Now, one thing you'll notice about this Valencia circuit, as it is quite wide and all of the corners seem to be very fast and flowing, so that means for some great side by side racing action, as in the background Miguel Costa was looking to cover off from Noah Montero, as those two are going to battle for 8th position right now. But out in front, it's our championship leader, Thomas Strauven. He's looking to make his mark. He's looking to wrap up the championship. And with getting a gap like this early on, he's looking very set to do so if he's able to continue on with this pace and also menace out in front. Further down the order, let's have a keep an eye on our driver. Number 46, Nathan Ty, wasn't the best qualifying he would have been hoping for, but he's making his way up the order as he's just picked himself up into a point scoring position now. He started down in 15th. He is much higher up in the driver standings in the championship. Obviously finds himself 6th in behind Juan Cota. Juan Cota seems to be a little bit behind Nathan Ty right now, down in 12th position. But the number 22, 5th in the championship right now. But as we cross the line, remember, 30 minutes of racing action. Plenty of time for these drivers to sort out their positions. But Thomas Strauven, he's not looking to change anything, as a commanding lead on the first lap has managed to bring daylight between him and his Griffin Core teammate of Jan Piriowski. Jan Piriowski, last time round in race 3 of the race in Jerez, was able to come home in 2nd position on track, but unfortunately was dropped a little bit further down the order after what happened to be a post-race penalty. Unfortunately, Piriowski dropped down to 6th, but clearly showed the pace that he had over the course of the weekend. Finished 2nd on track and finished 6th overall with the fastest lap still to his name, so that fastest lap point still going his way. Let's get a replay of the restart here. In 4th position, it was a terrible getaway off the line for the driver that was starting in behind our pole position sitter of Jan Piriowski. So, sorry, it would have been the 3rd position sitter of René Lammers. So, Lammers getting a terrible jump off the line in behind Strauven and instantly having to go on the defense down into turn 1. Not an easy position to be for the outside line as well. Valencia, a circuit that you don't see very often, but is an anti-clockwise circuit. So it very much is a left-handed circuit. So a lot more abrasion and a lot more wear being forced onto that right-hand side of the car and those right-hand tyres. So maybe these drivers will have to keep an eye on their tyre wear and maintain these set of tyres that they have on their cars right now. With it being such fast and flowing corners as well, trying to keep minimum corner speed high is going to be crucial throughout this race, which also means an increased load on that front right tyre, trying to negotiate the car through the corners. There's Renault Franco, still not far off the back of René Lammers right now. as the KCL MP Motorsport and the MP Motorsport car make their way through our pictures. The two sister teams are very close on the circuit right now. But Ian Eichmans, as Alex mentioned before the race, he took home his maiden victory last time out in Jerez, and that was the first race where he was able to get a great victory. What was looking to be a race that was going to go the way of Jan Peryovsky didn't end up going his way. Peryovsky did eventually have to DNF from the race, unfortunately, due to a mechanical issue in the car, which handed Eichmans the race lead, who commanded the victory there on forwards. Here's a replay of a battle a little bit further down the order. That looks like it's between the number 22 and the 10. We'll have to see who that is between. That looks like that might have been Juan Cota going for a move. It wasn't the 10, sorry. It was the number 19 of Reba. So Reba getting involved in the order. Or was that Schaufler? But up at the front end, Thomas Stralvin crossing the line. Let's see what the gap has changed to back to Jan Peryovsky. It's another great lap time from Stralvin as he just extends the lead out in front right now. Nothing that anyone can do to stop the man with a 111-point gap in the championship. Thomas Stralvin is set for gold, and if he keeps up this form all weekend, he could walk away with a new title and with a round to spare. Stralvin, he's just been so strong over the course of the season. If we compare him to Jan Peryovsky, the driver second in the racing order right now, he's fourth in the overall standings. Stralvin just clears in so many categories. 7 wins to the 3 that Jan Peryovsky holds right now. 13 podiums Stralvin has under his belt right now. And Stralvin just showing that consistency is so important, having an average finishing position of 4th on the grid, nearly averaging a podium, and one driver driving around without a rear wing. What's happened there? One car circulating without a rear wing. Didn't quite catch what that number was. That looks like that might be Lee. Is that unfortunately Lee that's driving around without a rear wing on the car? Yes, it is. That's the number 24. That's so unfortunate. Poor Lee, the South Korean driver making his way around. Koo-Yo Lee will have to pull into what is going to be the pit lane and unfortunately retire from this race. Either or, a meatball flag, also known as the mechanical flag, has been shown his way. So unless the team is able to pull off a miracle over at Road and Motorsport and somehow fix a rear wing onto that car, which I don't think would be possible in the time frame that we have, that unfortunately might be the end of race 1 for Koo-Yo Lee. But not the end of the race just yet for our leaders. Koo-Yo Lee is in the pit lane, and I'm sure we will very soon get the notification of her retirement. From an eye's perspective, for a moment it looked like Jan Peryovsky was closer than before, but that 1.1 second time gap is saying otherwise on the timing sheet, so I don't think anything is changing just yet. Lammers is eking a little bit closer to Eichmans, and there is the broken and dismantled car of Koo-Yo Lee. Would be great if we could get a replay and try and find out what happened there to Koo-Yo Lee on how he's managed to lose that rear wing. Steering wheels out, drivers out of the car, and that's heartbreak there for Koo-Yo Lee and for the Road and Motorsport team, as he is the first retirement of the race. Steps out of the machine and into the garage. It will be all eyes on tomorrow and focus onto race 2. That still doesn't soften the blow of a mechanical fault. And unfortunately, through no fault of his own, Koo-Yo Lee is forced to retire from the race. So we do have a notification from the stewards that an incident has been noted between Noah Schaufler and Koo-Yo Lee. So was it Schaufler that came into contact with Lee, which has caused that rear wing to come flying off, which we saw the mechanics, the marshals, do a brilliant job at recovering the debris off the circuit. Once again, the Orange Army, we wouldn't be able to go racing without them, so a huge round of applause and a huge thank you to them coming out in force every single weekend so that we can have this beautiful motor racing on a weekend's action. Ian Eichmans We're keeping an eye on this KCL and MP Motorsport battle. But if you actually look, Renault Franco and René Lammers have actually eked out a little bit between the two of them, and Lammers getting ever so close as to the back of Eichmann's right now. That gap has been falling lap after lap. Now, only about 7/10 that separates the two drivers. Well, it's showing as 8 between Ian Eichmann and René Lammers, with gaps starting to form. Racing and battling is sparse between them. So it will be great to see if René Lammers is able to catch onto the back of Ian Eichmann's. Valencia, it's a long circuit, 14 corners and 4 kilometers that the drivers have to face over the course of one lap. Not very many elevation changes, so not many chances for surprise in terms of the driver's order. And the full name of the circuit being the Circuit de Valencia Ricardo Tormo. Now, if you're sat watching at home, I'm sure Ricardo Tormo is a very notorious name in the world of bike racing. 2-time MotoGP champion. A actual local from Valencia. Unfortunately passed away in 1998. In 1999, this circuit opened and was named after the late and great. That first year, MotoGP visited the Circuit de Valencia for their final round of the championship. And from there on, this has been a famous circuit on many motorsport calendars, not just bike racing, also car racing, Formula racing, and even trucks race around this circuit. So a variety of different series take to this track every single year to battle out and who can be reigned on top and add their name to a list of very historic drivers. Out in front, the two Griffin Core teammates still just looking so dominant out in front, as Griffin Core by Campos are doing a great job in this back end of the season, especially to make sure that their cars are the ones on top. If we actually have a look at the constructors' standings, it is MP Motorsport that are leading the field right now, but only by 4 points over the Griffin Core team. Obviously, the Griffin Core team being based in Spain, maybe these Spanish circuits are going to suit their setups and suit their antics a little bit more. It was the Dutch team of MP Motorsport that dominated on the Dutch circuit in the Eurocup 3 championship at the sister championship of Spanish F4. This is where we're seeing Griffin Core come alive. And every point counts at this point. It's not just the Drivers' Championship that's close, it's the Teams' Championship as well. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, if the race finishes the way that it is right now, Griffin Core will take the lead in the Teams' Championship. Now we're looking at two drivers that are very, very close. And that's the number 55 of Emma Felbermeyer, who's trying to fend off Caras in behind. Yanni Steven Haydens is trying to get involved as well. Felbermeyer, a name that you might be used to if you've watched any of the F1 Academy outings. So a multi-class specialist is Emma Felbermeyer in the Spanish F4 and the F1 Academy grid. Out in front, Strauven just extending his lead once again, 1.6 seconds. Nothing really changing between René Lammers and Ian Eichmann's right now, as those two drivers are trading sector after sector. René Lammers and Ian Eichmann's. Eichmann's was fastest in the first sector, fastest in the second sector as they cross the line. They're identical in the third, but a little more time to add to his gap between Ian Eichmann's and René Lammers. I'll be interested to keep an eye on this battle between Felbermeyer, Steven Haydens, and what was Caras as well. So Felbermeyer still has Steven Haydens, Petrovic. Caras has dropped down another position. The two Caras siblings, the two wildcard entries for this weekend under the new G4 Racing team. So it's interesting to see how they are able to pose up in this field. They're doing a great job, especially for being wildcard entries, and it's great to see the two Greek drivers out in force right now. As 18th and 26th they find themselves. But Emma Felbermeyer with a defensive masterclass. Oh, and one car's round. That's the number 91. We'll have to have a look for that. Looks like it's going to be the Monlau machine. So the number 91 that went round, that looks like that's Campos. And that is, unfortunately, going to be Campos round with the Monlau racing machine. Let's have a look what happened here. Oh, a little bit of contact. Who was that made contact there? I couldn't quite catch the number. I'm sure we'll get a notification of a steward's inquiry very, very shortly. But that's such a shame to see the 91 go pirouetting round. If it was a ballet class, you'd be given a round of applause. But with it being a motorsport race, your head is in your hands. And that is very unfortunate to see for the number 91. Lorenzo Campos goes round and will drop down to the rear of this field. And we have another driver dropping down the order as Bogonovic pulls into the pit lane down the inside. Let's go back to racing action. For one of the first times in this race, we see two drivers come to clash. A little bit being kicked up there as Jacobi and Blascos both lock up as they go into the corner. Watch out. These two drivers, they are teammates, but it's ferocious racing between them as it looks like team orders has gone out the window. Another lock up there as it looks like Jacobi is struggling under braking. That's going to allow Felbermeyer to slip through, as Felbermeyer is going to split the two teammates. And in behind, Petrovic is on the inside. He'll get the move done on Jacobi. Jacobi's going to try and hold it the long way round. And Petrovic will be arguing on the radio that he was off the racing line. This is a nightmare few corners for Jacobi, as not just Petrovic, but Stephen Hayden's now feels he's the need to get himself on the inside line as well. As what started as just a little bit of a battle between two teammates of Alex Jacobi and Mickey Blascos. But the two Monlau Motorsport drivers, what was a battle between teams, has now became a multi-team battle as Felbermeyer, Petrovic has managed to make his way through. Jacobi managed to split Petrovic and Stephen Haynes, so he recovers to 22nd position. But not the sequence of corners that he would have been hoping for. All of that being initiated by a move down the inside from Mickey Blascos. Not very often do you see two teammates synchronize locking up into the same corner. But Mickey Blascos and Alex Jacobi, the gloves came off there, and Alex Jacobi coming off the worst. 13 minutes remaining in this race. We're just over the halfway mark for these drivers. Let's get a bit of a replay between this battle. Now, initially, you see the number 25 on the inside. That was Mickey Blascos. And Alex Jacobi, from what I can only expect, was a reaction when he locked up. He saw his teammate lock up on the inside, and it would have just been so unexpected that Alex Jacobi would have seen his teammate on the inside, that he locked up, went too deep into the corner, and after that, car after car was passing by, as Jacobi would have felt like a passenger in his machine, as drivers just filtered through and took advantage of the pace difference on the circuit. Thomas Straubing, hats off to him, a league of his own right now, 2.3 seconds back to his Griffin Core teammate of Jan Piriowski. As we mentioned last time round, Piriowski was awarded a post-race penalty, which is what stripped him of a podium. Let's hope in this race there's no penalties applied and he's able to hold on to that second position. But Straubing, Piriowski, Ian Eichmann's in third, from Rene Lammers, Rene Franco in fifth, from Cantan, Panetta, Montero, Ty and Costa are the drivers that round out your top 10 right now, with Hugo Schwartz being best of the rest. Schwartz is going to have to keep an eye on Nacho Tunion in behind, as Tunion is not far off in his Technicar machine. The rookie versus the veteran. Oh, that's very deep under braking from what was Ian Eichmann. He can't make many more mistakes like that, or Rene Lammers is going to pounce on the opportunity, but just misjudged his braking point. And just look at the difference that's made between the gap of Eichmann's and Lammers. as that door has just been completely shut and the gap has been brought down. As what was daylight a few laps ago is now a very close encounters between René Lammers and Ian Eichmans. Lammers will see that Eichmans is vulnerable. He'll see that Eichmans is starting to feel the pressure. And this is where experience will come into play. Lammers has found himself in this situation before. This is Eichmans' first season in a single-seater car. So can Lammers put his experience into play and try and use some mind games to make sure he makes his way past Ian Eichmans for the final spot on the podium? As that rear wing of Ian Eichmans' car will be looking ever so glorious to René Lammers in behind. With just 10 minutes, we're now 2/3 of our way through the race. As a great battle is going on in the mid-pack as 5 cars are all squabbling right now for position. As we have a little look down the order, we can see the Palau Motorsport machine getting involved as well as one driver pulls into the pit lane. That's going to be a retirement from Alex Jacobi. But at the back of the field, Pinera, Grotta, Fiorentina and Schaufler are all battling it out on the circuit right now. It's going to be an unfortunate retirement for Alex Jacobi as he pulls into the pit lane. Schaufler just watching this battle unfold as 6 cars are all battling for position. This is Schaufler, Pinera, Grotta, Fiorentina, Higgins and Dobranivsky all battling for position on track right now. As they're a little bit spaced out right now. But last time we made our way down the home straight, which is one of the longest home straights we've seen of the season. 876 meters. These drivers find themselves heading down to turn 1. But not heading the right way was Petrovic right there. As the number 77 seemed to be facing the wrong way on the circuit. He's gotten going again. But the T-code by Amtog car momentarily was facing the wrong way. That's very unfortunate to see there. Lammers in such an important position right now. As Alex Garcia reports in my ear, Lammers needs to be P3 or higher to keep a title chance. But we also need to keep an eye on fastest lap, as that is given the way of Straubing. If things finish the way that they are right now, if Straubing wins the race with the fastest lap as well, and Lammers is unable to find himself on the podium, it looks like it will be given the way of the Belgian. But Alex Garcia is standing by and waiting for a chat down on the pit straight as well. We'll throw down to Alex to get the latest.
Well, hello, Kai. I was thinking of mentioning that same thing that you were explaining just now, but just keeping a good eye on what's going on that fight between Eichmans and Lammers, because this is what's going to decide the championship most likely today, because we have a Straubing that has been dominating, has been quicker than anybody else. He keeps that fastest lap so far, but as you were very well telling, if Ian Eichmans doesn't manage to hold on René Lammers and René Lammers manages to steal that fastest lap, we could still keep that championship for tomorrow. Honestly, I think it doesn't look very, very likely, as we talked before the start of the race. Overtaking here is not easy. We also have to consider the possibility that MP Motorsport might favor René Lammers just to keep that title chance alive. But of course, you know that the driver interests are different. So, you know, we have a few minutes left to see. But I suspect that the title is going to go the way of the Belgian ace today.
Thank you very much for your input, Alex. But as we were saying before the race, we were expecting this race to go down to tomorrow, and Straubing having to decide it in the 200th race of the Spanish F4 history. It's looking like he can do it in the 199th if things stay the way that they are right now. A lot of history is being put into this race right now, as we're just keeping an eye on what is going on. If Thomas Straubing wins this race, he would be the second ever Belgian champion since Amaury Cordillo in 2018, who was the last Belgian champion in the 3rd season that Spanish F4 was circulating. So it'll be a big deal if we see Thomas Strauven add his name to the title, to the list of very big winners. Richard Verschoor, a big name in the world of motorsport, in the world of Formula Racing. Christian Lundgaard took home the championship in 2017. Then it was fellow Belgian of Amaury Cordial. Formula One driver Franco Colapinto won this championship back in 2019. And then it was Cas Havercourt, Delano Vanthoff, Nikola Solov, Teo Fionau, and our most recent champion of Mattia Karnagi. In about 5 minutes' time, will we be saying that our most recent champion is the name of Thomas Strauven? It's looking like it could be the case. Ian Eichmann just needs to hold on for a few more laps, and all eyes will be on this battle. Ian Eichmann and René Lammers, 7 tenths separating them right now. It has started to eke out the gap a little bit right now. Lammers had managed to pull that gap down to about 4 tenths of a second after we saw Eichmann make that mistake and go heavy under braking. Lammers hasn't quite able to respond to the pace of Eichmann's at the moment. He hasn't been able to latch onto the back of the Belgian's car. A lockup from our leader, that's not going to change much with a 3.5 second gap. But he heads down the 0.8 kilometer straight with 4 minutes and 40 seconds on the clock. I'm sure Strauven will be counting down every single second that goes by, as hopes and prayers will be going on in that cockpit for the Belgian out in front. And Ian Eichmann will be fighting for his life as well. He will be unaware of the situation at hand. He'll be unaware of his importance in the championship play. But I'm sure it won't be long until he finds out what impact he has. Does he hand the championship to Strauven, or is he the driver to deny him and make him prolong it to tomorrow? There is the number 4, sight set on the track in front. Not too bothered about the car in behind. Gap stays about the same right now. Lammers needs to put his foot to the floor if he wants to keep this championship battle alive, and it's so important. Will he be getting fed the information of that he needs a podium to keep the championship battle alive, or will he be left alone with his own thoughts to push for the best position possible? René Lammers, second in the championship right now. If we compare his performances to Thomas Strauven, there is quite a few differences. Thomas Strauven being the more consistent of the two, having no DNFs at all this season. How often do you see that from a driver? René Lammers, has had 1 DNF this season. It's Thomas Strauven that hasn't had a DNF, which isn't very often seen. But it's a 4-win difference in the standings, a 6 podium difference between Strauven and Lammers. But everything is still possible. Anything can happen. And the number 99 will just be watching the clock every single time he goes down that home straight. He'll be hoping that more and more time has been ticked off as the laps pass. But Griffin Court could crown a champion this race. They could also get themselves into the lead of the Constructors' Championship, which will be the case unless anything happens to any of the Griffin Court drivers. So the way that things stand, Strauven's champion, Griffin Court lead the points championship, and it's just going to be 3 more laps to decide what happens. Eichmann's, Lammers, still 7 tenths. Nothing changing there, as our top 5 just about stay the same. It's Strauven, Piriowski, Eichmann's, Lammers, and Renault Franco. But this is a big moment in the Spanish F4 history, as with such a large point margin of 111 points coming into this race, it was looking pretty certain that it was going to be done this weekend, but we didn't know at what point it was going to be. Thomas Strauven, he's not quite a rookie in this championship, but it's going to be second time round that will be the charm for the Belgian. 1 minute 22 left on the clock. A lap time around here setting these drivers back 1 minute and 34 seconds in time. So we will just have 2 more laps of racing and 2 more laps around this circuit. It will be interesting to see what these drivers' futures hold for them. Thomas Straubing, I think it will definitely be a strong one indeed. Spanish F4 champions have a 50% success rate of graduating to Formula 2, the second highest step in Formula racing. 4 out of the 8 last champions, those being Christian Lundgaard, Richard Verschoor, Amaury Cordial, and Franco Colapinto. So 4 out of the 8 last champions have made it to Formula 2. Will Thomas Straubing make it 5 out of 9? We'll have to wait and see what happens here. But with the top time now ticking down, just 15 seconds remaining, and it will very shortly strike 0. Thomas Straubing, a dream becoming a reality as he rounds the final couple of bends now. He'll cross the line as the clock strikes 0. This will mark the final lap, a victory lap, you may say, for Thomas Straubing. As the fastest lap is still his way. René Lammers, that gap has came down a bit. It's only 4 tenths between him and Eichmanns. It's not done just yet. Ladies and gentlemen, get onto the edge of your seat because we have a ropey final lap coming ahead. As Straubing, he has one hand on the title. By the skin of his teeth, he could win it. But René Lammers doing everything in his power to try and get himself onto the podium and keep this championship fight alive. We'll watch this 3rd position on the standings as the gap seems to stay about the same, but all it takes is one mistake from Eichmanns, one lockup, one corner where he goes wide, and that blows the doors wide open. Eichmanns, if he wants to give this championship to Straubing, needs a perfect final lap. And Lammers will be praying the complete opposite. You'll be hoping that anything happens to the Belgian in 3rd. But Thomas Straubing, he's driven a perfect race. You cannot take anything away from the Belgian in the lead. And if nothing changes, a deserved champion for your 2025 Spanish F4 champion. He weaves left and right as he crosses the line with 2 hands now on the trophy. It's Thomas Straubing who takes home your 2025 Spanish Formula 4 title. The 2nd Belgian champion in history. And he's done it with 5 races left on the calendar and with 1 round to spare. The emotion will now wave over as Thomas Straubing has now won the Spanish F4 Championship. Congratulations and a big round of applause to the number 99. As you'll see, number 1, just not his finishing position in this race, but his championship standing as well. With a commanding season out in front. And this will mark his 8th win on the calendar. Thomas Straubing takes home the 2025 Spanish F4 title. Griffin Corps promote themselves into the lead of the Constructors' Championship as well. And I think it's fair to say it's the perfect sign-off for the Belgian that has been untouchable all season. He has been a force to be reckoned with. His 2nd time around in the Spanish F4 Championship. He wasn't able to do it last year. He wasn't able to do it last time around. It was Matteo Cornaghi who took home the championship last time. But this time around, it's Thomas Straubing. He finished 7th last year. He promotes himself 6 positions higher and takes home the ultimate trophy. As the drivers will now make their way around the parade lap and towards their finishing boards. as our top three. Just to remind you, Thomas Straubing wins the race and wins the championship, with Jan Piriowski and Eichmann in behind. Down pit lane we go. And it's enough to bring a tear to the eye of the Griffin Core team. And of course, Straubing himself and all of his family watching along at home will be elated that all of the hardship is now done. That number one is permanently his for this season. And after a light to finish victory, what a way to round out your championship campaign with the ultimate statement. You'll step out of the car, and for the final time it's necessary, as the 1 round to spare doesn't count for him, he'll loft himself on top of the car. And very elated with the result, he'll go over, embrace the team and the family as well. As you can see, the emotion just bubbling over a little bit now for our winner, as he'll be awarded with the number one championship banner. He'll embrace his teammate of Jan Piriowski. And number ones to the sky after a long, hard-fought season. It's Thomas Straubing, who is our deserved champion for the 2025 season. And he adds himself to a long list of drivers that are very successful and very notable names in motorsport. And I think it's fair to say, from my perspective, that Thomas Straubing has a long career ahead of him. Being just the age of 17 years old, he drives with maturity and talent, has racecraft well beyond his age. For the driver just born in 2008, he was so successful all his way through his karting career, and now single-seaters, he gets his first taste of glory. 2024, it was a successful season, taking home his first race victory. But 2025, he picks up 8 more and a championship title. And I'm sure very shortly, Alex Garcia will be down there ready for a chat with our new title holder. As that smile on Straubing's face, I'm sure, will not fade for quite a while now. And as he walks over towards what will be Alex Garcia very, very shortly. The celebrations for Thomas Straubing will continue on long into the night. But let's have a few replays from this race right here. There was a good battle going on between the 22 and the 10. That being Noah Schaufler and Juan Cota as well, as those two drivers were battling for position. Emma Felbermeyer put some great defensive action on show as she was able to fend off what was a long train of cars in behind, and implementing that park the bus strategy. But in the end, it was Thomas Straubing that came home with the victory. We saw a great battle midway through the race between the two Monlau Racing teammates, as spinning round, that was the number 91. Sorry, yeah, that was the number 91 of Campos, as Campos found himself facing the wrong way. But as we just prepare for our post-race interviews and podium as well very, very shortly, make sure to stick around to hear the latest from our championship winner and race winner as well of Thomas Straubing. Alex Garcia is down there in Parc Ferme with our championship winner of Thomas Straubing, who will catch up with the latest news and I'm sure the latest emotions from our new championship winner of 2025. Thomas Straubing is with Alex Garcia.
Exactly 8 wins later and quite a few excitements later as well. Thomas Straubing, Formula 4 Spanish champion 2025. How does that sound?
Well, it sounds amazing. It feels amazing as well. to have this feeling here at the home race of Campos Racing is mega. Yeah, I would like to thank the team for doing the amazing job, what we've done this year and this season. Yeah, it's been a good year. A few more races left, but we could already take it here, which I'm very proud of. Yeah, like I said, to do it here in Valencia feels just amazing. And yeah, now we focus on tomorrow. But yeah, first we celebrate a bit the win and obviously the championship. Yeah, and I would like to thank my dad, my parents, my family, and my sponsors and my team for supporting me throughout the year. Yeah, and that's actually it. I cannot say more.
You were, of course, you knew that you had the chance to become a champion this weekend. It was a very solid chance. But to make it today, a few things had to happen. You needed to be at the top. Those extra points from pole position would help. That point from extra, fastest lap would help as well. Did you take that Saturday thinking, let's say when you woke up this morning, did you think that you were going to go to sleep as a champion, or were you thinking more about tomorrow?
Well, I was not really counting the points, so I didn't know where I had to finish, or I was just trying my best. And obviously, at the last few laps, I knew if they stayed in P3, it would be okay. So, yeah, I just didn't really think about it. Just drive my way around, and yeah, we did the pole, and now let's make the most of the weekend still.
So, Thomas, time to celebrate, enjoy it, and enjoy tomorrow as well, because racing as a champion is always more fun.
Yes, thank you.
So that's the key, racing as a champion. That's what we will see from Thomas Strauben tomorrow on Sunday on what will be also the 200th event of the Formula 4 Spanish Championship. But for now, for today, the big news is we have a 2025 champion, Thomas Strauben. He had his date with destiny and he made it count.
For him, the championship is over, but as he said, the weekend isn't over just yet. There is still another 2 races to go, and it looks like he isn't going to back down from that fight either. Alex, Thomas Strauben, 14 podiums and 8 race wins in just 16 races that he started in. Was there any chance that anyone was going to stop that man this season?
I think a few rounds ago it was already a foregone conclusion. We knew that he had that speed, that racecraft, that confidence as well. And we've mentioned that before, but also that peace of mind that allowed him to tackle the race with more aplomb than his rivals. And although that is not necessarily something that is very obvious to the eye, it has bearing on the results, because this is the racecraft or the mindset that brings that racecraft that we've seen on drivers like on the best days of maybe Mattia Colnaghi in Eurocup 3, or if we go higher in the ranks, drivers like Oscar Piastri when he was climbing towards Formula 1, or Alex Palou if we think about IndyCar on the other side of the pond as well. So it's that kind of mindset that seems to be becoming the latest trend among the champions, which is being a very calm, very collected, very relaxed. I mean, maybe relaxed is not the right word, because this is high-level sports and you're never going to be entirely relaxed, but you give that air of relaxation which takes you to give the best of your abilities. And I think Thomas Strauben has it in spades. He's shown it this year, and after 8 wins, he's definitely not letting go of those next 5 races. He's definitely a candidate for all of them. I doubt he would win all 5 of them, but we know that he will try. And what numbers he can get, well, that's for him to prove and for us to find out.
Alex, thank you very much for your input. We get ready for the podium celebrations right now. 2 Belgian drivers make their way, that being Thomas Strauben, our championship winner, and it is now time for the Belgian national anthem. A Belgian national anthem with what I expect to have a little bit more meaning this time round. Ian Eichmanns, the driver in third position, will be awarded his trophy next. First, it's going to be the team trophy that's handed out and handshakes all around. But keep an eye on the second position in the championship, as it's not done just yet. Little bit of a mistake there, as the third position trophy is nearly given to Jan Perijovski. Perijovski a little bit further out in front than Ian Eichmanns this time around, but the second position trophy will now be handed to Jan Perijovski, and it will next be to our race winner and new victor of the 2025 Spanish F4 Championship. Thomas Straubing will stand on top once again, and he'll loft his trophy high. Very excited indeed. You don't blame him at all. With the championship wrapped up, all eyes are on second position in the championship, as René Lammers wasn't able to keep it alive, but he has a lot more work to do the rest of this weekend as well, as the gap between him and Ian Eichmanns is now only 4 points between the two of them in the championship. Eichmanns getting closer and closer to that second position spot in the championship, and René Lammers will be doing every single thing he can to try and hold on to it. But with still 2 more rounds and 5 more races, there's a lot that can happen here. The podium celebrations continue, and for Thomas Straubing, I'm sure they will continue long into the night, as he is now the championship winner, as he is doused in champagne from not just his team representative, but also the other 2 drivers. I'm sure he won't mind that much though, as he has just won the race and the championship as well. Let's get a few highlights from what happened here, and this moment was what secured the race for Thomas Straubing, as he got away from the line, got a gap from the rest of the field, and it was smooth sailing from there on. No issues for the Griffin Core driver. Jan Perijovski as well, he got a great jump off the line in second position, as he was able to secure his place early on, and from there on he broke away from what was Ian Eichmanns in third and was able to pose a little bit of a gap to Thomas Straubing as well. In the midfield though, the battles weren't done just yet, as Emma Felbermeyer was under pressure lap after lap, but doing a great job to fend off some ferocious power in behind. She'll finish 20th on the grid overall. As the battles raged on in the mid-pack, we saw the number 91 and the 12 have a good battle over and over again. That was for the Campos driver, as Campos eventually going around, and unfortunately what looks like to be a little bit of trouble that will find the number 12 of Carras in later on. Now, this was a great battle. The 2 Monlau drivers of Mickey Blascos and Alex Jacoby. Jacoby later having to retire for an issue, but that one lockup cost him 2 positions as he tumbled down the order from what was an overtaken attempt, leading to 2 positions lost. A group at the back were feeling a little bit spicy as all the drivers started going side by side. It was 6 drivers in the end that ended up battling it out for 18th position on the grid, as we saw Carras, Blascos, Felbermeyer and the other Carras sibling as they all went to blows. This was in the dying stages of the race once again, as nothing stopped until that checkered flag was flying, but it was for one man indeed. It meant a little bit more. Thomas Straubing will take home the victory and the championship, but the weekend's not done yet. The championship may be done, but there is still plenty of positions to be decided. Make sure to tune in tomorrow for race 2 and race 3 of the penultimate round of the Spanish F4 Championship here at Valencia. And tomorrow, the first race is a very special one. It marks the 200th race in Spanish F4 history. I'll see you there, and goodbye.